Oh, hello there. Yes, well, I hope you're enjoying your weekend. A nice long weekend with the bank holiday. Best make best use of it because, of course, the wokeists will want to take it away because they're so anti-Christian and anti-Israeli and pro-Hamas. Yes, indeed, aren't they? Yes. I had to go out shopping yesterday and I needed to look up the Easter opening times, and of course Google wouldn't let me until I put in Hamas opening times. Yes, of course, because that is the world we live in, isn't it? Well, it is the world that our right-wing commentariat live in, of course, because of course they have to continue that brilliant notion of the war on Christmas into the war on Easter, which neatly ties into, well, their particular views about certain groups of people. After all, it's what Jesus would want. You may remember the parable of the Good Samaritan, whereas, of course, with GBNews and the rest of them, it would be the parable of the person who supported Hamas and needs to be deported. Or something, yeah. Yesterday, the Daily Telegraph actually had these 4 opinion pieces, okay, one after another, which do display a certain unity of thought, shall we say. So we've got Imran here with Britain is now the heartland of Islamic extremism. Yes, indeed, all of that religious stuff. We can't be thinking of that over Easter, can we? Jews against Netanyahu cannot claim to speak for the majority, says Jonathan there. Yes, they can't, can they? Very much the same way as Jews who do speak, in favour of Netanyahu definitely are, of course, because, of course, the Jewish people are a bloc in much the same way as the Islamic people are a bloc, and Christians are a bloc as well. Just think about how much in British history we haven't been having a go at the Catholics for hundreds of years. Anyway, leaving that aside, we got the inevitable Jake. It's time to smash the Iranian nuke project. Because nothing says the message of Easter like aligning to a genocidal nation to spread death and misery in the Middle East. Probably, yes. And Tom Harris, my favourite one, religious sectarianism should have no place in Britain, which is what they're often saying, these people, okay? Yeah, they often say we mustn't have backdoor blasphemy laws. We must just allow people to, believe whatever they want to. And I'm a firm believer in that. I happen to believe that all religions are inherently ridiculous. Inherently ridiculous. I'm not the type of person that's going to be going around saying that one religion is better than another. I think if you get involved in that kind of thing, particularly if you start making scientific arguments about what God wanted or scientific arguments about what a woman is, then you're inherently on very shaky ground. But of course it doesn't stop them, because it enables them to put a level of veneer of respectability, and it is the thinnest of veneers on their own particular, rather nasty notions like, Talk TV. Here we have inevitably, don't we? Yeah, that Alex woman. This is a Christian country. All too often our values and our culture, which is fundamentally underpinned by Judeo-Christian teaching, is thrown in the dustbin. Yes, isn't it? Which is a collection of words which don't mean anything at all, because of course, if Alex knew anything about anything, she'd know that Judeo-Christian is a concept that was only invented after the Second World War in order to align right-wingers with Israel. That has no part in glorious British tradition, which is, of course, often involves pogroms against the Jewish people, because, if there's a plague or something, you want to blame them for that. That's British history for you. Our values and our culture, yes. Or indeed did have to smile at this from Turning Point, a group never knowingly not kicking down on minorities, be they sexual, gender-related or otherwise. Yes, on Good Friday we remember Christ's sacrifice. Don't let his sacrifice be in vain by surrendering to radical Islam. Yes, we mustn't surrender to radical Islam, because of course that would be the central message in the Bible, not surrendering to radical Islam, isn't it? It's very much like, in the Quran, the central message is that Jesus is one of the messengers of God, and as such plays an important and pivotal role in their religion. But, we won't bother with things like facts. And when we're sort of thinking about all of these absolutely appalling people who are trying to get rid of Easter, we mustn't leave out the independent MPs. There are loads of them. They pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian, anti-Semite, independent MPs. And, of course, I imagine that none of them were, of course, mentioning anything about Easter apart from, the ones that actually are. But, of course, GB News and Talk TV and the Daily Telegraph will just pretend that those things don't exist in very much the same ways as they'll pretend that they actually do have any sort of religious belief at all. And of course, inevitably, I would have to point to the 9th commandment, because God's a bit unhappy about that thing. Be he a Jewish God, be he a Christian God, or indeed be he an Islamic one. Yes, because them's the rules, and you're supposed to follow the rules. You're not supposed to just chop and change them and make it up as you go along. But that is religion, isn't it? And that is your GBNews and your Talk TVs and your Turning Points and your Telegraph. Meanwhile, again, in the real world, something you'll not see anywhere is, of course, what is actually going on in the Middle East, because Palestinian Christians, oh yes, that persecuted minority, are indeed a persecuted minority. They aren't allowed under the Israeli state to actually venture into the holy places. But that is, unfortunately, reality. Thing I deal with, I like to think. Anyway, do have a glorious Easter. Do have a lovely Easter egg. I hope it's got the word Easter written on it. Otherwise, don't forget, the terrorists will win. You can't make this rubbish up, can you? And yet, there they are, sitting there, subsidised to the eyeballs by multi-millionaires who know full well that if you're getting cross at brown people, hopefully you're not getting cross at them, which is the central message they went to get across this holy time of year. Do enjoy.